Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm supposed to be going to bed here, actually answering YouTube comments, but I'm going through my email and I got this email where someone sent me this link to this article. And I thought I'd comment on this because this is kind of interesting. Good chance to use my screencasting software here. Maybe I'll start doing some videos on articles or things on the web. I just occurred to me I could do this, right? So anyway, so this article is basically about this idea that, well, you can read it here. It's at medium.com. Well, it certainly takes a lot of chutzpah to make such a sweeping declaration about software. It's a pretty big link here. I think you can probably find this article. I'll put a link here. You'll be able to find it in right here, somewhere up here, somewhere on this page. You'll find it. But anyway, I'll read you a little bit of this. It says, well, it certainly takes a lot of chutzpah to make such sweeping declarations about software engineering based on 3 months of boot camp training and a short period of job experience. Let's first get something out of the way. Coding is not the same thing as programming. Programming is problem solving. When you solve a programming problem, you arrive at a solution. This solution is known as an algorithm. Then you must express your solution, i.e. the algorithm, in the programming language of your choice. This is known as coding. Your choice of language may influence how you code your solution, but otherwise, this is a fairly mechanical process. People often mistake coding for programming. They think that if they learn a programming language, such as JavaScript, Python, or Ruby, they've learned how to program. That's nonsense, of course. Learning a programming language without understanding how to solve a programming problem is pretty much worthless. It's like learning Mandarin and not knowing how to express your thoughts effectively or eloquently. Make no mistake, problem solving is difficult. Coding is relatively easy. So at face value, I agree with this, right? But here's the problem with this, right? I mean, at face value, this makes sense, right? This is true. But it's kind of ridiculous because you can't really learn a programming language, right, without learning how to program in it, right? You can't really learn coding. That's not possible. You have to, even if you knew the syntax, right? And he goes on to say programming is hard. It's an engineering discipline. I disagree with this, not an engineering discipline, but you can call yourself a software engineer. But, boot camps cannot teach you the discipline in a short period of time. They allot. That's not true. They actually could. Here's the thing. So he goes on, this is this old tired argument about boot camps from an angry developer who put a lot of time and effort into becoming a software developer and is concerned about their art and their discipline and doesn't want to see it sold cheaply with boot camp. Sees the threat of boot camp. But it's hard because at some degree, right, at some point, at some level, I agree with this, right? I mean, coding is not the same as programming. You can go through boot camp and not know anything. But here's the thing, though. I could take up any profession, right? Something I don't know anything about, biochemistry, whatever it is, accounting, whatever it is. And I guarantee you that I could study and practice and put it into application as much as I can. If you give me 3 months and I can work on this for 10 to 12 hours a day, I will be a better expert in that area of subject in 3 months' time than someone with 10 years experience. I know that sounds kind of bold and kind of cocky and arrogant, but it's damn true. And I guarantee you this, right? And I'll tell you why. Is because that kind of deep focus for 3 months period of time, that's a lot. That's more time probably than someone might spend in a few years in their career. But because it's so deeply focused and because it is so compressed in such a short period of time, the benefits are much greater. So what I'm saying here is this. At a surface level, this article is right? You can't just call yourself a good programmer because you went to some 3-month boot camp and learned how to code. But you also can't assume that someone didn't learn how to become a really good programmer in 3 months because maybe they did spend 10 to 12 hours a day really focused on learning how to code, doing a lot of projects, doing a lot of work. In 3 months' time, I could write a 500,000 word book, right? I mean, I could write 4 novels in 3 months' time. Like, honestly, like this can be done, right? You could write 5,000 words a day And you could do that, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do in 3 months if you're willing to devote a lot of time, right? You could learn how to play 4 instruments probably, right? Decently, like if you spent a large amount of time doing this. So you don't know, right? And you don't know how much they know. And so I guess what I'm saying with this is like, you can't, I understand what this author is saying, and I'm totally for not trivializing how the depth that you can learn as a software developer. You should be continuing to learn, and you will continue to learn your entire career. You constantly have to get better. You never have made it, right? In life, you should never assume that you've made it. And a large amount of experience that's applied, and where you're constantly continuously learning, is extremely valuable. And people who do that are extremely valuable. And most people don't realize how valuable or how difficult it is to attain that level. But you cannot know that someone hasn't accelerated themselves in 3 months to at least a decent spot where they are a good hire. You can't just like say, oh, I have 10 years experience, and real software development, real coding programming is difficult. Therefore, all these kids that think that they can just displace me with 3 months of coding camp, that their experiences and their opinions are irrelevant and worthless. And to say that it takes certainly a lot of chutzpah to make such sweeping declarations about software engineering based on 3 months of bootcamp training and a short period of job experience, that is to invalidate someone just based on a lack of experience. You don't know how much life experience that person has. I mean, you don't know what they learned in those 3 months. Like, just because someone's experience is what you would perceive to be as shallow doesn't mean that it's invalid, right? There's a lot of really intelligent people that in just 3 months can view things in a totally different way. Historically, there have been prodigies and so-called geniuses that have very quickly understood complex things and turned whole professions on their head because they thought differently, because they saw things differently. So I wouldn't, dismiss these type of things. So anyway, I think probably in most cases, like, I think the author is going to be right in a lot of cases. But the reason why I'm making the point here is because a lot of you who are watching this video are kind of new software developers or want to be software developers, and trying to get into this field. And I don't like this kind of stuff. I don't like this barrier to entry. I don't like this holier than thou. You have no rights because you've only been doing this for 3 months. That's bullshit, right? Your opinion and your experience is just as valid as anyone else's, and you can bring new insights. I mean, a lot of you, I've been programming for 15 years. I'm not doing it now very much, but you have something to share with me to me, or I have something to learn from you. Your experience is valid. And so I don't like this kind of gatekeeper type of mentality. Obviously, you can watch my video. We'll see. I don't know how to do it on this, but it'll come up on gatekeepers and why I don't like them. And to me, this is that gatekeeper mentality. It's the old guard trying to hold on to what they have. And I don't have much patience for that. So I get the point. Totally get the point. Totally agree with most of what's in this, in this first couple of paragraphs, as far as like, yeah, coding and programming, totally, different things. But what I disagree with is that someone couldn't do this in 3 months, and that you can know, based on this. I mean, you can test someone and you can interview them and you can know, but don't discount someone. Let's not tell them that they have to pay the dues and define the dues as what we think the dues are. It's not what we think the dues are. It's it's the hard work, it's the discipline. It's the things that you can't necessarily see. Only the person who has paid the dues knows that they've paid the dues. You can't judge that. I mean, it's true, not in this situation. You can't know what someone's gone through, what they've learned, or what their wisdom level is from just saying, oh, in 3 months they couldn't, right? It's crazy. I don't like that limitation. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got to say about that. So take care. Oh, if you like this video, subscribe, by the way. Yeah, you should do that all the time. Take care.